Looking sideline, incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Brissett. And that's incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
The Browns send out their punter now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And this will be taken at the 13. Almost outkicked his coverage there. 48-yard punt, but 10 on the return. And the Ravens, they'll take over. And now this offense comes back out onto the field. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate, but we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way that this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall. This is a rarity in the NFL, a 100-yard game on the ground for a quarterback. Even as those passers get more athletic and mobile, we only see about 5 of these a season. It takes a special set of circumstances for it to happen, and of course, a special player.
And a loss of 3 to bring up 4.
I have zero rooting interest in either team in this game. I only want a good game. But with all the offense we've seen from them tonight, it's kind of nice to see the defense step up and make a big play.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were ever going to get him in the backfield. Nice to see him get a stop. Taking it right down Broadway. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. They seemingly just continue to score at will, and as great as it's been for the offense, you got to feel for that defense down there.
And I love how you use the word will, because both teams came into the game with the will to win, but one team has obviously imposed its will on the other and broken them. Because what we're seeing right now, wow, that's a defense that's in tatters after what they faced in this ballgame.
The quarterback will keep it himself. And, boy, talk about adding insult to injury. He's into the end zone to tack on 2 more.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for 2, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. Size of victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get 2. You got some pretty ticked off folks on the other sideline now.
It's a short kick taken out beyond the 20. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. Cleveland offense making their way out. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
And they're able to work this across midfield to the 48. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Play action now. Brissett. Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted,
nowhere to go. Here he lost the football, and it's picked up by the Ravens. And this is going to be brought back for a Baltimore touchdown. Second time he's lost a fumble. This one hurts more. It's returned for 6.
He's been under a lot of duress, hasn't he? Pressured, hurried, harassed the whole game.
Well, the offensive line not giving him a lot of help.
Not a lot of help, but the bottom line, he's got to take care of the football.
The quarterback will keep it himself. And they are just not going to let up as he is into the end zone here for 2 more.
I think this is just going to be a function of the times we live in now. Very similar to the bat flip in baseball. Everyone's got to start to get comfortable with this. But to me, this is just rubbing it in. You got a big lead. Go ahead and take the extra point. One thing to keep in mind, though, karma's still out there, and sometimes has a way of catching up with you.
So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. It's a short kick taken out beyond the 20. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. Ready to take over again on offense. Out comes Cleveland. Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Odafe Oweh able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
Talk about two sides of the ball cross purposes, because mercifully this game's almost over for the offense, but the defense, they still want to get a few shots in. Their front seven, they've loved this ball game. They've been able to pad their stats, and maybe some backups can get in and get a sack as well.
And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. Here's Brissett. And incomplete on the deep ball.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
This is fielded at the 27. A good return there, 17 yards. And they will take over 1st and 10. And Baltimore's offense set for this next possession. And they've got to be feeling very comfortable and confident here with this lead in the football here in the fourth quarter, Charles. And I don't think that they need to score again, but it seems like this offense is just getting better as the game goes on. They've scored on their last 2 drives.
It certainly feels like a chance for them to continue to have some fun out there, doesn't it? Game's already decided, as you noted, so they can continue to play loose, break out some other concepts, maybe run a few trick plays, get other people involved. Heck, even go deep on one of these first snaps just because they can.
And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 70 yards rushing for him now to this point. So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance and guessing, because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers, meanwhile you force turnovers.
Bigger batter, petty don't matter. Far as the teller, I pray to God they rattle tattle. Hey, what's a rapper? I started off that, now I'm better. I get capital. I help my people to get cheddar. I do business. Look here, stay out my business. I'm so iceberg slimish, stainless, not a blemish. I should have been in prison. Don't boy remorse, no cases pinned. I got the rolling flooded, soaking wet, but ain't been swimming. I'm the man now, ain't I? Work a plan now, can't I? I remember when you lame player, hated a player, now the same lame player. They call a player mayor. Say, what you talking that funky, get about my face. Wearing that monkey. Not that might give you life advice. Get some money. Mr. Paper Power Pastor, burning rubber faster than a call NASCAR. My solo notes are I am not a passer. I will not after any of you fever blistered. I'm the man now, ain't I? Work a plan now, can't I?
Here's Will Lutz ready to get this one started. And we are underway from Hard Rock Stadium. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. Oh, a good-looking return set up here. There he goes, right side. 20. He will score. Touchdown, Miami. So a heck of a start to this one. We haven't even gotten settled in already in the end zone on the opening kickoff.
And you know what happens, too? Now you got to translate what that means, because I think for the team to just score, their defense, I think they'll be more aggressive now. They'll be bolder. They're playing with a lead and an early one in some momentum. So if you're the offensive coordinator on the other side of the field, you better be prepared for some heavy pressure coming your way. They're going to try and get another big score and a big one early.
Two to throw right away. And he will get in to make it 8-0. And you talk about coming out and making a statement. Not only do you return the thing to the house, you go for two and get it.
How about how the rules have changed from the 2015 season where you could go for two from the 2-yard line instead of kicking it from the 15? We thought that would promote more aggressiveness. We saw it right there.
So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw. Fields this way up at the 17. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. Now here come the Saints about to begin their first possession. And the man in charge of this offense, his 8th season now in the NFL, former #1 pick, Jameis Winston.
It was terrible to see Jameis Winston suffer his torn ACL last season because he had the Saints rolling in his first year running the show in New Orleans. They went 5-2 in his starts, and they were just 4-6 after he was injured. And how about this? He only threw 3 interceptions, really addressing the big concern people had from his time as a starter in Tampa. New Orleans, they plan to roll with him for a second season and hope that last year's performance will carry over in a full season.
From the 35 on second down, Winston. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. A gain of 22.
That was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
Here's a throw out wide complete to his running back right side. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. Not what they had in mind there. That's going to go as a loss of 4. It looked like the defense, they were ready for that one.
Really left it.